好，各位在场的所有的伙伴，大家午安。很高兴有这个机会能够在林院长的邀请之下来担任这一场的主持人。我名叫吴忠宏，目前在国立台中教育大学永续观光暨游憩管理硕士学位学程担任教授。Dr. Park, can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right,
yeah,
good.
It's clear.
I will try to briefly introduce you, and then after that, then you can start your presentation. 今天我们非常高兴能够邀请到这个 Dr. Park 来做我们这一场的 keynote speaker. Dr. Park 他是目前是这个visiting professor at the School of Hotel and Tourism Management at the Hong Kong PolyU, and a professor in the College of Hotel and Tourism Management at Kyung University in Korea. Dr. Park 他之前曾经在英国的 University of Surrey 教过，而且也在这个Hong Kong PolyU 也教过。那他的整个的primary research interest include information technology in tourism and hospitality, tourism big data, and artificial intelligence and digital marketing. 所以我们今天非常荣幸能够邀请我们 Dr. Park 来成为我们这一次的这个专题演讲的这个speaker。那他今天要谈的题目是 The impact of the COVID-19 and technology on hospitality industry. So that's 我们热烈掌声欢迎我们的 Dr. Park. Let's give him a round of applause. Dr. Park, here you are.
Thank you. Okay, I think I already shared my recorded video with the ISU University, so I believe that they're going to play on it.
Dr. Park 有一个预录的影片，我们可以开始播放。
Hello everyone, this is Sangwon, who is a professor at the Kyung University in the Republic of Korea. It is my great honor to have this opportunity to share my thoughts, ideas about the impact of the coronavirus and technology on the hospitality and tourism industry at the International Conference of Tourism and Hospitality Trend Development under post-pandemic, 5G, and the AI era. In this sense, I'm going to talk about the implications of digital transformation under COVID-19. As you recognize well, the pandemic crisis, such as COVID-19, has generated enormous impacts on our society in general and toward hospitality in particular. Here's an example showing dramatic change of inbound tourism demand in South Korea. Since January 2019, it somehow appeared to growth of demand by December 2019. However, since January 2020, with the outbreak of COVID-19, the dramatic drop in tourism demand has been taking place. By this time, unfortunately, there was no notable recovery. When comparing the demand between January 2019 and January 2021, 95% of inbound tourism demand has been dropped. Here's a photo showing the Incheon International Airport, where it used to be one of the busiest airports in the world. But now, it seems quite silent and empty. I believe that this situation does not just reflect the Korean tourism market, but it is applicable to most of the cities and the countries over the world. So when COVID-19 struck, it forced social changes around the globe. Nearly overnight, government issued the orders that limited the large gatherings of people, restricted in-person business operations, and encouraged the people to work from home as much as possible. In response, the business and schools alike began to look for ways to continue their operations remotely. On account of the internet, or thanks to the internet, they turned to various collaboration platforms and video conferencing capacities to remain engaged with their colleagues, clients, students while working from home offices. Even prior to the pandemic, technology had become an increasingly important part of the workforce. Businesses were looking at technology as a helpful means of engaging with the customers, allowing some workplace flexibility, and for a way to introduce automation and faster processes. However, the spread of coronavirus and then lockdown or shutdown of in-person meetings for non-essential businesses accelerate these technological adoption immensely. It forced the companies to look into creative digital solutions so that the organizations could continue to function remotely, continue to serve their client base. This shift toward digital operations took both a customer-facing and a behind-the-scenes role within many businesses. At the same time, customers have expressed their interest in receiving services very little or the no contact with the people, calling for remote or at least contact-limited operations from a customer-facing direction as well. Together, this such a pattern or shift helped to drive a digital transformation that has impacted businesses across tourism and hospitality industries. And then, what is a digital transformation? Digital transformation includes a number of elements. As I mentioned here, digital transformation integrates a number of technology, as you can see here on the slides. Digital transformation is such a quite comprehensive concept with several contemporary artifacts like IoT, which is Internet of Things, or big data, automation, blockchain, and then artificial intelligence. So this such the broad concept. It's quite hard to define digital transformation as one single statement. However, I want to highlight some features in the digital transformation. Based upon my understanding, I want to highlight three key characteristics in digital transformation. First one is data-driven approach. The establishment of a technology enables the company to collect massive and various types of data, including your consumer and employee behaviors, as well as real-time performance. The advanced algorithm that analyze such a big data help you to identify important insights which can be used to develop digital strategy. In other words, the key thing by adapting digital transformations allows your business or destinations to obtain the data, or such important data, and then find out important information and knowledge from it. I also want to stress another feature of digital transformation, which is a discovery-driven transformation. When adopting the technology, you do not expect a radical change in your businesses, but try incremental approach to transformation over time. By continually finding ways to fix problems with the digital technology, testing, refining assumptions about what works, and getting new information, then minimizing the risks, a firm can learn their way gradually toward effective digital response. This is the discovery-driven transformation. As a result, company can obtain such important insights from data, and then having some understanding important information, gradual understanding by adopting technology, they can develop successful digital strategy. So these features can be described as digital transformation or technology-enabled insight. So in this sense, I have kept highlighting the importance of data or big data. So what is big data then? So big data can be defined as 4 V's. So a lot of people have mentioned the 4 V's, or 5 V's or 7 V's, and a number of different terminology there. But I want to highlight the 5 V's, which denote the volume as a massive size of data. Variety indicate various forms of data. The veracity, high speed of the data. The velocity, the uncertainty or consistency of the data. Ultimately, the value indicate how we create the value from the data. So these such elements can be defined, can be helpful to define the big data. So please do not only consider massive size of data as the big data itself, but various forms, high speed of data, and how we find the value from it. Now when thinking about what drives the evolution of the big data, it is the advancement of information technology. As you can see here, the development of technology has generated such a Web 2.0, that is social media. Due to social media, we can see a number of different types of data can be uploaded, which can be collected, like text data, what people review, provide the textual comments. Some images, people take a photo when they travel, or when they stay in a hotel. Somehow we also can get the data about video, like a TikTok, or even the voice. This is a number of massive data, different types of data, saved in social media. We can collect it. Using the mobile technology, we know where videos are located and then how long they are located. It's a spatial, temporary information, so it can be saved as well. And also thanks to the advancement of statistical software, there are a lot of such free software available, and also people share their knowledge and the coding using the free software like the R or Python. And then now, our computing power, like the CPU, is quite highly advanced. So these such artifacts, or all the technology, has been integrated or contributed to generate or make contributions to improvement of big data in tourism hospitality. So now, so we have talked about what's the definitions or features of digital transformation, and what's the meaning of the big data briefly. So now, please let me talk about the impact of digital transformation in responding to the COVID-19 based on those 4 perspectives, such as employee empowerment, customer engagement, operational optimization, and transformation of products. I would say that the last element of the transformation of the products regarded as personalization. So first one, empowering your employees. When thinking about daily tasks in public and private businesses, a number of repetitive tasks involved. Sometimes employees are required to write similar task reports, or staff in the hotels should repeatedly answer the same question over and over again. And then some must also deliver amenities to the guest rooms. When having AI and or service robots, these advanced technologies should take over that repetitive tasks. Instead, human staff can more focus on the tasks that require strategy and critical thinking. I also have mentioned big data several times ahead. The advanced technology, the equipped analytical tools can quickly implement what is true, the complex statistical modeling, and then generate the outcomes in a very easy format, which facilitates the employees or such a governor to understand the insights from it, and thus make better and wiser decisions. Second, discovering the consumer insights. The pandemic has led to a paradigm shift in the consumer behavior, changing the way people think, work, shop, travel, and holidays. Even health and safety is now the number one priority of consumers. The making strategy should reflect this specific aspect. At post-COVID-19, we can expect that travelers are more likely to show individual travel patterns as opposed to forming a group travel. This pattern should be related to the fact that travelers' needs should be able to more complex and diverse, in addition to concerning social distancing, hygiene, and safety issues. So these dynamic change of the travelers' needs require sophisticated understanding of consumer insights. Big data that contain detailed consumers, travelers' profiles, and apprehend their preferences and the behavior patterns, enable tourism and hospitality marketers to develop personalized services and products. So this personalization, particularly proper marketing strategy to deal with individual travel patterns. As I briefly mentioned before, people would be more likely to require contactless services rather than receiving the entire services in person due to uncertainty of potential any infections via human touch. So virtual technology can be an important tool as a marketing that gives prospective travelers or consumers to have indirect travel experiences in a virtual world. So essentially, we can transform from the real environment into such a virtual circumstance so that we can give it a more such a virtual experience literally. The virtual technology is not really new technology, but with the facing pandemic crisis, it has become a very useful marketing and or communication tool to enhance such an engagement between service providers as a marketing hotel with the consumers as the travelers. Again, from the perspective of customer engagement, I also want to highlight the mobile technology. In the stage of a pandemic crisis, in particular, mobile technology has become an important facilitator to carry out instant engagement of the travelers with the company or destinations. When observing current travelers, most of them carry their own mobile phones in their trips. Due to location-based system, their mobile phones keep communicating with the cell phone towers while visiting a travel destinations. The communication means the sensor transmissions. The sensor transmission generate very important information regarding not only where the travelers have visited, but also when they have visited those places. Suppose that an infected traveler is identified in a certain area. Their local touring destinations can send alert notification to specific travelers who have visited or currently visiting the area with the details of what to do. Even before DMO send alert messages, the travelers can check real-time information about hygiene and other crisis issues such as nature disaster. Chatbot, as a kind of artificial intelligence on travelers' mobile phones, can instantly respond to any inquiries by providing up-to-date information and fulfill purchasing additional products which couldn't be accomplished using traditional sources like travel guidebooks. And yes, so here's an example. Currently, we have experienced that many people who test positive for the coronavirus are hesitant to figure out whom they have exposed. People seem to worry about being blamed for causing the outbreak at the places where they have visited. Tracing system use the information collected to locate coronavirus clusters and prevent outbreaks. The mobile technology would let users or travelers know if they have been close contact with an uninfected person. The instant engagement with the travelers by offering the real-time information help local government to implement tourist crisis. And to execute the tourism crisis management in a timely manner by affecting travel or changing travel behaviors, as well as providing local stakeholders with detailed guidelines. The key elements that make crisis management successful is timely reaction and community cooperation. So this case can be applicable to nature disaster like earthquake or tsunami, which is another type of a crisis in tourism. Then destination organization or tourism hospitality businesses can proactively guide the visitors using nature disaster alert system via smartphones. The fourth aspect is optimizing business operations. After passing through, hopefully sooner than later, so after passing through the pandemic, consumers would be more likely to have contactless services and immediate response to their inquiries, as I mentioned before. Then artificial intelligence, as a part of digital transformation, can sufficiently address these changes in consumer preferences and consumer patterns. So it's robust, can respond to any questions about destinations and the service information, even delivering the amenities or items to the guest rooms and then take, pay, and order. As I briefly mentioned before, using chatbot on the smartphone or any service embedded in service robots, consumers can receive immediate reactions or information, which is responses to their inquiries, and obtain real-time and or up-to-date information about destination products. These artifacts of that digital transformation facilitate hospitality and tourism business to enhance their productivity and efficiency of their operations. So based upon this such understanding of digital transformation, so please let me share some case study. Actually, I'm the person or researcher who are interested in the big data, AI in tourism hospitality. I have done a number of big data study research before. So one of the things I highlight is how the big data as a part of digital transformation has provided positive impact or have given more benefits to the stakeholders or the government or local government in the tourism destinations. So I just said here in my slide, using the big data in transformation, how we helpful to responding to the COVID-19. So actually, I'm not quite sure how many students have recognized or have heard about the Jeju Island in South Korea, Republic of Korea. At the bottom of Korea, we have this big island, which is Jeju Island. Jeju Island is one of the key destinations, or the most popular destinations in South Korea. It includes a number of areas or beautiful nature resources. So as you can see here this is the Gimpo Airport. This means we have two different airports in South Korea. One, Incheon Airport, mainly for international trips. And then Gimpo Airport, so popular for domestic trips. And then, so here is the Gimpo Airport. You can see that many 100,000 people try to visit Jeju Island. As you know, in Korea, never performed the lockdown like in Taiwan. That is, Korean people can visit any places without any restrictions. So even though some of the government leaders in Jeju Island discourage people to visiting in Jeju Island due to potential spread of coronavirus into Jeju Island. However, Korean people, of course, they have the human nature, want to have a travel to abroad, but they cannot do it now. So a number of people trying to visit to Jeju Island, like here. So now, what we have done is that we actually, first of all, what we done in our team is to identify what's the travel patterns of domestic travelers when they visit Jeju Island. So we collected massive car navigation data. So we tried a lot of machine learning algorithm to identify where the key places and then how the travel flow pattern has been shown. So we use flow-based clustering method, as you can see here, and then we find out this is the result. As you can see there, in the Jeju Island, we come up with the 9 key clusters. The 8 key clusters in the Jeju Island based upon their travel flow. In the Jeju, so most of Korean travelers rent a car, they drive their cars. So this data, again, from navigation card data, so it's a most high representative of the generic travel patterns. So not only we find out 8 key places, but also we found the travel patterns. As you can see here briefly, about 60 or 70% of travel patterns keep moving within the hot places. So only 20 up to 30% of the travel patterns have been showing beyond or out of that hot places. Let's find out that. Also, because we used navigation data, we were able to see their POI information too. This means that not only where they visited, when they visited, but also which activity they have set for when they reach the destination. So this is what we find out that. So this information is generated very important insights to the destination marketing organization, the Jeju Tourism Board. They understand travel pattern, what kind of activities they're really seeking for at the key destinations, and how they move around. Guess what? Very interestingly, this important information from Jeju Tourism Big Data have been applied to develop such a coronavirus prevention strategy. So for example, as you can see here, like here, the Jeju government tried to develop pandemic prevention strategy. But due to limited financial, non-financial resources, the Jeju government was required to effectively distribute the resources and to maximize prevention results and maintain high level of visitor experiences. The findings of our big data project have been applied, have been considered very seriously, and then the government to develop this report that include detailed guideline of where should be the key place to keep an eye on, and then make some special zone for coronavirus prevention based on our big data. And then we also forecasted how many visitors are expected to visit the key places. Accordingly, Jeju government allocated the staff, which means the governors, how many kits to diagnose, to test it, and then where we have the follow-up strategy to implement it, because we already know that where we already expected it based on the travel flow, where people like to go after first hot places, where they like to go. We already know it, so accordingly, government already established a setup or the prevention strategy as a plan B or plan C accordingly. So, I'm sorry, as a result, so this such a project has been recognized one of the most successful or high impact, so the project in the society is recognized in the Korean government. And then even I tried this project when I was in Hong Kong University. Even in Hong Kong has been regarded or recognized this project as one of the most successful in terms of knowledge sharing and the impact on society too. And now our team, so based upon this such a previous big data project, our team is developing machine learning algorithm to execute Jeju tourism recommendation systems. I just said, we are able to predict where people likely to visit. And then what kind of activity they want to seek for. So we can recommend what kind of activity or attractions they very likely to visit, and they like to prefer to visit. We already finished all the modeling of their travel behavior. And then this such a recommendation system will be applicable on the app application. So we believe that this system is actually available to travelers at somehow in this summer or fall, so that visitors can enjoy the recommended services and potentially we offer the better travel experiences. The sense, so these are all the idea, this is all the concept of digital transformation under COVID-19. To highlight the new concept, smart tourism or smart tourism destination. And the big data with the digital transformation is indispensable. Integrating tourism with any other different stuff like the transportation, transportation or waste management and all the infrastructure or energy consumption department too. So this integration can generate smart city. So indeed, what I really want to highlight that digital transformation with the big data is a very useful and innovative tool to guide the business to make a wider decision as a result of resolving problems, issues, challenges in the tourism hospitality is facing now. So I believe that the digital transformation it should generate the benefits, not only for travelers to enhance their travel experience, but also the residents in a more sustainable manner. So now, as I said, as I showed in the presentation, at the post-COVID-19 in tourism, people be more concerned hygiene issues, as well as their needs are more sophisticated, which require more personalized information and the products. So digital transformation can somehow address these more inclusive aspects so that we can make it happy for both travelers and residents too. That's, I believe that, as the ultimate goal of a smart tourism or smart tourism city. Okay? Thank you very much for listening to my presentation. I'm very happy to share my thought, and then I look forward to having question and answer from the audience. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Park. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, this is Homer Wu again. Being a moderator for your presentation is my responsibility to be a bridge between you and the audience. So I will ask around to see if there are any questions for you. So please bear with me. 有没有问题想要请教我们Dr. Park？ 也可以用中文问。All right， 请。
I'm a student in the Department of Human Rights, and my Chinese name is Liao Hongshi. No,
有没有同仁能够拿麦克风给他一下？
My Chinese name is Liao Hongshun, and you can just call me Sen. And like you said, big data is more powerful right now, and I guess the AI and the robot will replace manpower in the future. Maybe step by step, not that fast, but I guess eventually will replace. So my problem is, if this will be happen, then what do you think is the most important core competence of hospitality staff in the future? Like, I'm not an AI or robot, right? So if I don't want to be replaced, what kind of skill I should improve right now?
Yeah, okay, Sam. That's a really, really good question. Very critical question too. That's very important as well. As you mentioned, AI, machine learning, or big data really coming to our industry or society in general. Well, this is what I always argue that. So because of the change of technology, society will be changed too, which means that the staff as well as students are required some new skills so that we can adopt the technology or AI, and then somehow we can accelerate our capability to utilize it. But now, to answer your question, somehow, I think I want to highlight the two things. First of them, we need to have more analytical skills. Of course, when I mentioned in my presentation, once you have more technology, one of the big different thing is that we will have more data, which means we should be able to understand the data, get the insights from it. So even though AI comes over, please do not really too much worry about it. You will only be able to replace some repetitive job. We always do the same things over and over again. For example, you write a report almost every day. You don't really have to do in the near future because AI will replace repetitive tasks. But still, humans required to decide some decision-making process based upon critical thinking, based upon analytical thinking. And so I think one of the things we need to think about analytical thinking and the critical thinking. On the other hand, so for the second part of it, we need to be able to have some social skills. Hospitality. Somehow touch industry requires a human touching between service provider, like the staff, and then the customers or the visitors. And so human engagement interactions are required. That is a part of social skills. I don't think it will disappear, even though we're going to have an AI. So I think I really want to emphasize one, social skill or communication skills, as well as analytical or critical thinking. Yeah.
All right. Does that answer your question? Okay, thank you. One more question. 再一个问题，因为我们时间快到了。哦，好，既然都没有人，然后我们就。
Sorry, I want to ask another question. Well, I have a good interesting about data analysis, that kind of stuff. But I guess when we talk about big data, there's always a big issue that we cannot go. It's the privacy problem. So, what can we do to make our customer more trust us? Can give more data, not we just like get their data secretly. Yeah, that's my problem. Thank you.
Yes, not just you, the audience, but also every single person in the world. We are facing some challenges or difficulties how we manage some personal identity information, some privacy or confidential issues. But as you can see, I have done a number of big data projects, so I'm very happy to share more if I have a chance. So all my big data projects, there's no individual data. We only have collective data. So they already have a very clear guideline from EU, how we collect data, how we analyze data, not beyond some personal identity, some privacy concern. So even though we have collective data, we have more aggregate data, we should be able to analyze so that we can find the insights from it. But it is a more researcher perspective. But if I talk about industry perspective, for example, if we operate hotel, then somehow we should be able to build up trustworthiness between hotel or data collecting place and with the customers. The reason why, whenever you access a website, they always ask your agreement using the cookies. Are you allowed to collect your cookies information while you are using the website? This is one of the agreement between that the users, I'm willing to share what I have done in the logo file activity to the website. The website perspective, I can get your information and I can provide a better service in future. This is an agreement trustworthy between it. I'm pretty sure that this kind of mechanism will be more common, be more general in future than now.
OK， 我想刚才这个 Dr. Park 在他的这个简报当中里面特别举到了这个 Jeju Island， 就是所谓中文叫济州岛 他们里面的观光系统的这样子的一个建议。那他们运用了许多的这些大数据来做分析。那他特别提到大数据里面有5个 V 这样子的特性。第一个叫做 Variety， 就是多元性；第二个 V 叫做 Velocity， 快速性；第3个 V 叫做Veracity， 就是正确性；第4个叫做 Value， 价值；跟第5个叫 Volume， 丰富。所以他们的这个整个济州岛那边，就是因为都要用租车的方式来在这个岛上去做这个交通的移动，所以他们透过整个卫星定位，用那个navigation 的这个方式去知道所有的游客他的移动的这些动线，所以他们去用这样子的方式来收集游客来到这个岛上之后，他们到底去到了哪些地方，然后得到了9个最主要的这样子的这些地点。那同样的这些方法，事实上在台湾，我们政府也开始希望能够去朝这方面去做，但是我们透过的是电话的这个移动方式，特别是国际观光客来到台湾之后，那他们可能会用租或者是用买这边的这个 SIM 卡，然后我们看 SIM 卡它的移动。那现在政府必须要去整合3家电信业者因为现在大部分都只有中华电信、远传或者是台科大他们自己的这些系统，所以未来要整合的话，就可以去了解到国际观光客来到台湾之后，他们到底去了哪些这些景点他们的移动路线。那我想韩国他们也是透过这种方式去用大数据的方式来了解到整个观光。甚至他们做出了这个游客这个拥挤的这种管理，跟这个所谓的社会的这个距离，和怎么去强化他们的整个旅游的体验。那我想我们今天非常高兴，因为时间的关系，我们再一次等一下，我们热烈谢谢我们的这个Dr. Park。Dr. Park, due to the time constraint, and we will end the session here, and let's give you and everybody a round of applause. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's my really honor to have this chance to share my thoughts. Thank you very much.